Hi everybody, welcome back to Abby Thrifts. If it's your first time being here, thank you for watching. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can make real money reselling thrifted items online. And I think it's really funny because my YouTube name is Abby Thrifts, but I have not yet touched on the aspect of myself also reselling. I consider myself a reseller. I resell on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Poshmark, so many places. Those are my top three though. I sell in all those places and I have yet to update you guys on any part of that aspect. So instead of me only putting out videos about me thrifting and buying things and making myself look like a hoarder, I'm also going to be putting out videos in the future, this one and continuing, about how you can make real money doing this. And it's something that I have had many years of experience in. I've been doing this, oh my gosh, maybe 3 or 4 years now. And it's something I've learned a lot about, and I really want to share all of my tips and tricks with you guys. So this is definitely one of those times where I'm going to be explaining to you how you can make real money thrifting and reselling items online. Before I get started though, if you really like my content, go ahead and press subscribe. It would mean the world to me. I've been gaining subscribers little by little and it means the world to me. Every time I check my app, I'm like, oh, I got another one. So if you love this content, thrifting, reselling, going to the Goodwill bins, going to Goodwills, finding awesome thrifts, definitely give me a subscribe and I will be uploading 1 video a week at least, hopefully putting out 2. So once I get to that point, you'll be watching my face more, but if you like that kind of content, go ahead and press subscribe down below. It would mean the world to me. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I have 10 tips for you, but first I'm gonna start off with a story. I've always been under the impression of the very traditional way of making money is to get a job. And I think that most people have that impression. I think others have figured out how to do it online and other very creative ways to make money, but the most traditional and surefire way to earn some money is to get a job. I think people are doing that and finding that out at a very young age. So whether that's putting up a lemonade stand or selling baked goods or selling candy bars at school, or when you get a job when you're 16, you're knocking on doors, you're a pizza guy, you're working at a retail store, whatever you decide to do, whatever part-time job or full-time job that you decide to do, that's a very easy way to make money. But that also comes with the saying, time equals money. So you are giving away your time to make that money. And it's always just been a path that I've chosen to walk down. I haven't been very creative in a way of being an entrepreneur. I have worked so many different places in my hometown. I bet I can look at every retail store, almost every restaurant and go, yeah, I've worked there, I've worked there. I've worked at that business, and it was just me over the years going, okay, I'm tired of this, I'm just gonna go to the next one. But it was a way to earn money. And when I was younger, around 16, 17, 18, 19, did not know about the world of reselling and thrifting and finding items. And let me tell you, it is so much better than working a job. It is so much better. It is so much more fun for me, at least. I mean, if you're one of those people that really enjoy the restaurant experience, if you really love the retail experience and that whole atmosphere, that could definitely be for you. But for me, it was just, I never found something that I really loved, and thrifting and reselling was something that I just really loved to do because I always found really cool things. And so if you're like me and you're kind of like, man, I need to bring in some money and I don't really like this part-time job, but I have to bring something in, I have 10 tips for you, things I should have shared earlier, but things I'm going to share with you now to get started if you are brand new at doing this. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. What really got me thinking about this was about 6 months ago when I decided I needed another job, or a second job on top of my full-time job. I wanted to make some extra money. I loved thrifting and reselling, but it wasn't bringing in enough, and I just didn't consider it something that if I put hard work into, that more would come out of it. It was just something I did on the side. I decided I needed another job, so I started working at Smoothie King, and it was a surefire, traditional, very easy way to make money. So on the weekends, after my 9 to 5:30 on Monday through Friday, I would work Saturday and Sunday at Smoothie King. And whether that was a 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. shift or 4 to 9 or whatever shift that was, I worked at Smoothie King and I made $10 an hour, and it was a super easy job. I got paid every other week, and it was an extra $200 or so that came in. I began to think when I was doing that, I was like, I really want this time on the weekends to myself, and if I could be doing something that I love instead of spending my weekends here, you know, away from the people I love and away from the things that I really love doing, you know, why am I doing this? So I just began to think about the time that I was spending at this part-time job and the time I was giving up, and I decided to put more effort towards reselling, and it worked for me. I really tried to put more effort into it. I started reselling things on Facebook Marketplace, reselling things on Instagram, Poshmark, and things started selling the more that I put up. So this kind of goes right into the 10 tips that I have for you, but that's just one of those stories that really kind of ignited this spark in me to start reselling for real. And you guys can do it. You can make money online by reselling the most random crap. I'm telling you, it's real, and you can do this without getting a part-time job. All right, so I have this all written down for you. This is kind of a guiding point for me so I can clearly express my thoughts and you guys know exactly what I'm saying, but I guess I'm gonna go from number 1. So there is no real order with this. I'm kind of just going through the steps and letting you know what I did to start making money online. The number 1 thing, if you're brand new to this, is to pick a thrift store or an antique store near you and go often. This could be a Salvation Army, it could be a Goodwill Bins, or a mom and pop owned store. Just pick something and go there, because it is so much better than you just sitting on your butt at home and watching TV or playing video games or scrolling through Instagram. It doesn't matter what you do. You can go to one of them or you can go to all of them and just browse. But when you go or pick this thrift store, this is also where you pick a spending limit for yourself. So go on Google Maps or whatever kind of thing you're using and look up thrift stores near you, antique stores, different things like that, and just go to one and browse. You don't even have to buy anything the first time you're there. Just go around and browse and look and just think about, okay, what are some things that are popular in my area? What would I like? What do you think your grandmother would like or grandfather would like? Not necessarily as gifts, but as somebody who could potentially buy that item. So once you have picked your thrift store, antique store, your favorite place to go, the next step, number 2, would be to think about what kind of item that you want to buy and resell. And so this can also be a more difficult part if you don't know, but it could be clothes, shoes, vintage items, purses, kitchen items, home decor, furniture, literally anything. It could be all of the above if you want it to be. When reselling, you have to keep in mind the platform as well. So whether you're going to make an Instagram page and resell your clothes on there, or you're going to resell on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Poshmark or Depop or Mercari or wherever you decide to sell. I have 3 that, like I mentioned, that I normally sell on and that I've had great success selling on. So no matter what you choose, there are people on there and people are going to buy your items. So think about what kind of items you want to resell. What are you interested in reselling? You can also get really creative with this. I've seen people sell clothes and they rework the clothes, or they have a sewing machine and they'll cut it up and tie it and make it this cool thing, or they'll find like a long button-down shirt for a man and turn it into like a cute outfit for a woman. And it's just really cool how people sometimes do that. So if you have kind of a cool hobby of sewing, or you're crafty, you could always do something with clothes. Or if you're good with woodworking, maybe you could do something with furniture if you kind of like flipping things. So that's also something to think about. Okay, tip number 3. When you are about to buy an item, triple check the condition of the item. And I cannot stress this enough. Nothing is worse than buying an item and getting home and realizing that there are holes and stains on it, and it didn't have holes and stains when you were looking at it at the thrift store. That's something that can be very detrimental to actually selling the item. If it's something that doesn't fit you, or that's not your style, or what have you, that item could potentially just be sitting in your closet, or it could be something you have to donate or give away and you just lost a couple dollars. And even though thrifting is cheap in itself, that's why you're going there to find these things anyway, it's just the premise of the situation of you spent $4 to $5 on the item or however much it was, and it has a stain on it. So would somebody buy that if it had a stain? It really does depend on the item though, what you have. Some people would be willing to buy it if it's a little scratched up, or if there is some kind of damage to the item. You just have to kind of look at it and make your best judgment. Number 4, before you buy an item, check the resale value online. And so let's say you're thrifting and you find a really cool vintage t-shirt let's say you find a really cool Rams vintage t-shirt and you're like, okay, I want to buy this. So I look it up online, or you look it up online, and you see that 3 other people are selling that shirt and they're selling it for $25, and you're like, oh, cool. Depending on the app that you use, you could check and see if it's actually sold before, or if those 3 tees are the only ones online that are being sold and nobody has sold that t-shirt before. No matter what the situation is, it is very, very helpful to check and see what the original price of the item is and how much people are selling it for, and if it has been sold. So you can go online, like on eBay, and check and see if people are selling that item and what they're selling it for, which would give you a good idea of the price to sell it for as well. So you're not just knocking it out of the park with like the item normally goes for 25 and you're listing it at 100. So that just wouldn't be fair. Definitely check the resale value on the items that you're buying, no matter if it's a home decor item or a t-shirt or a pair of pants or whatever. Just check to see if somebody else has sold it and what they sold it for. So that is going to help you sell your item if you decide to buy it. Tip number 5 would be to keep your receipts or some form of tracking on all your purchases. So the reason that you're going out and doing this anyway is to make money. And so if you're not keeping track of your receipts or what you paid for the item in comparison to what you sold it for, then you might as well not even be doing it, because you don't know how much you're selling it for and you don't know how much you're making. And I know it sounds like a lot of math, but it's going to help you in the long run to determine, hey, I made this much per month, because you can't just buy the item, let it sit there, sell it, and go, oh, I made $20 on this. And let's say you spent $4 on the item. You actually made $16, which is really good. That's great, but how would you know that information if you don't write it down? Because I guarantee you that you're gonna forget, because I forget, and you know what, we're humans. We just gotta have some kind of system to help us and remind us what things sold. And that could also help you down the road when you're selling per month, to help you see, okay, I sold $100 worth of things this month, I sold 200 this month, 300 this month. It's however you decide to do it, but it's going to help you show your progress as well. Tip number 6 would be to think about where your item would do best. And so when I say that, I'm saying to look at your item, the weight of it, how it feels, just every aspect of the item, and to think about where your item should be sold. So for example, I would not sell a coffee table on Poshmark. I don't even know if you can do that. I don't think that you can do that, but just as an example, I would not do that. And I would also not sell a t-shirt on Facebook Marketplace, just because I have not had great experience doing that. But on Facebook Marketplace, I have had great success selling furniture and home decor items. So you kind of just have to think about your audience and where that item would do best. eBay would also be a great place as well. I mean, you could sell literally anything on eBay. People sell all kinds of things on eBay. But as I said before, I normally go to Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, eBay, and now Instagram. I have that in the link in a link in the description. It's dynamic.duo.thrifts. So go check that out. We got some cool clothes on there. I normally just stick with those places, and I think about how heavy that item is, what that item is, and where it would be best to sell it. So that was really important to think about. Tip number 7 is be willing to risk it. So one thing that I always try to remind myself is that there are so many people out there who enjoy so many different things and have so many different hobbies and a million different personalities. So when you're buying an item and it's hard to think about who might want that item, just think that there are 7 billion people in the world, and that somebody is going to want your item, and somebody owned that item before it was at Salvation Army or Goodwill or wherever. Somebody owned that item before, so somebody liked it enough to buy it for it to end up there. So somebody is going to buy that item. You just have to put in the work and list it in those places, and you have to market to the right audience as well. And when I say that, I mean to tag the right people in that post or wherever you are posting it. So for example, if you're selling on Facebook Marketplace and I'm selling let's say I'm selling a lamp, I would not put in the tag portion of Facebook Marketplace that I'm selling a coffee table, because I'm selling a lamp. So you always want to make sure that you are tagging your items correctly, that you're putting them in the right groups. And as for Poshmark, when you're listing clothes or shoes or whatever, it is very specific on, you know, women's clothes or halter tops or whatever. They are very specific. So whatever you are listing, just make sure you're putting that in the right group. And, you know, just don't be afraid to buy the item if you think it's cool. Like, I was so nervous when I was first thrifting that I was constantly thinking, who would want this item? Who am I shopping for? You know, am I just wasting my money right now? But the big thing about thrifting is that you have to be willing to risk it to make money on it. And I think the big thing for me, I love going to the Goodwill bins because there was almost zero risk with anything that you buy there. For example, I recently just sold a pair of leather mid-top Converse shoes for men. It was something that I found when I was in line heading to the checkout, and they were kind of sticking outside of the bins. They were in like perfect condition, and I grabbed them real quick, and they had to have weighed like almost nothing, so I probably paid $2 for them, but I just sold them on Poshmark for $40. And so it's something like that where, like, if you live by Goodwill bins, or if you're able to get something for a very low price, just go for it, because the risk versus the reward is worth it if it's something that you think you can get a decent amount of money out of. So just think about the risk that you're taking. If the item is priced too high, you think, maybe try to bargain with the people who are working at that specific thrift shop. Just say, hey, is this the lowest you can go on this, or can you be any more flexible with this price? And most of the time I think that they will work with you, depending on the store as well. But just keep in mind that there are so many different kinds of people out there, and I have to remind myself of that so many different times, because somebody will buy that item. You just have to believe in it. All right, this one is pretty quick, but tip number 8 is to put in the work. Put in the work. The more you list, the more it's gonna sell. And that is strictly it. Like, it is math, it is science. If you weren't good at math or science in school, I'm right there with you, because yeah, everybody hates math and science, but it's simple. If you list more, the probability of somebody buying your items, or one item, goes up higher, because, you know, you have more items to list. More items are appearing on pages and, you know, home pages for people, and so many different areas. The more people are looking up and searching for different things. I mean, it's simple math. All right, tip number 9. This one is actually one of my favorite tips. Keep your eyes open for free things to resell. So have you guys ever watched dumpster divers on YouTube, or maybe ever seen a dumpster diver in real life? When you think about it, that's their job. That is their real job, is to go out and find free things in the dumpster that nobody wants anymore. They take it out, they'll clean it off or whatever, and then they'll resell it. And so everything that they make on it is 100% profit. Just make sure that you're looking around for free things. So I'm not saying that you have to go look at dumpsters or landfills or anything like that, but keep an eye out for free things that people are giving away on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe friends and family are giving away, and use that as an opportunity to maybe resell if you're looking for some extra money. That's something that I did recently. I was driving home, it was snowing, and I saw somebody had left a really nice looking ottoman outside, and so I like dragged it back to my garage and ended up selling it for like $10. So extra $10 for me. I mean, somebody ended up wanting it. And the 10th tip is to know what your item is worth. Know your item's worth. It's kind of like we're talking about our self-worth, like know your worth, but know your item's worth. And what I mean by that is, when you're looking up the resale value on it and you price that item at a certain price, and then you put it up on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark or Depop or Mercari or wherever you list your item, and you list it at a specific amount, just be careful about people lowballing you, because people will. And just dependent upon your research and things that you've seen, don't just accept the price of an item, or a counter offer for that matter, because somebody's offering you money for it. I mean, there are many other offers that are going to be sent your way for that item, and I'm promising that 100%. I'll give you an example. I listed a Zara t-shirt. It was this really cute Lion King Disney t-shirt that I found thrifting. I got it for $4, and I listed it at $21, and I had somebody counter offer me $9, and I was about to take it. I was like, I want to sell this really bad. It's been sitting in my closet for a while. I want to accept it. So I pressed accept, but apparently they didn't have their payment information on Poshmark, so the payment didn't go through, and so I think they wanted them to update it so that it would go through, and I was kind of just waiting for that to happen. and maybe 2 hours later somebody bought it at full price. And after that I was like, I'm not accepting lowball offers like that, because you know, if somebody offered me maybe 15, I think that would have been fine. I would have been good with that. But like under $10, I was like, come on. It was also a new with tags item too. It wasn't just a used t-shirt. It was new with tags and everything. So I understand that places like eBay, Poshmark, Facebook are filled with shoppers who want a good deal. Like, I totally understand that. I also want a good deal. But when somebody lowballs you and tries to take advantage of you for the cost of your item, just think about how much you want to sell your item for and just stick with it. And you also have to think about what your item is and if you could go lower on it. So it's kind of just a learning process, I think. At the same time, you just have to think about the item that you're selling and if you would pay that price for something like that. So another example that I have, my best friend Brianna, you've heard a lot about her in these episodes, but she sold or at least she was trying to sell a pair of joggers on Poshmark, and she was selling them for $12, which is a very, very good price for something like that. It was like Adidas, super nice looking joggers. And somebody came back to her with a $5 counter offer, and she sent it to me and she's like, should I accept this? What the heck? You know, what do I do with this information? And my first reaction was, oh my gosh, that person is so rude, because that is just such a lowball offer. Like, I get that you're trying to sell the item and that person wants a deal as well, but if reselling is going to be your job, just think about the value of that item and if it's worth what they're trying to give you for it. And if you truly don't think that it is, then don't accept it. So that would be my best piece of advice for you. Don't worry so much about selling it right away, but just think about that person who will pay that money for it. And we have come to a conclusion. Those were my top 10 tips for making real money selling thrifted items online. And I'm so glad that I had this little paper in front of me. Again, I apologize for looking down while I'm reading it, but I wanted to deliver you all of my thoughts and everything that I've been thinking, because I've been thinking about making a video like this for a very long time and I just didn't know how to put it into words, I guess. But I finally sat down today and actually typed everything up and was like, this is what I'm thinking, I gotta just write it down. And it finally all came out on this nice piece of paper. But if this helped you out at all, if you're a new reseller or wanting to get into reselling and thrifting and this helped you, let me know below. I would love to know your thoughts and comments. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to say about my tips, let me know below in the comments. I'd love to connect with you and have a conversation with you. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.